There's a big one. He's powered over the road and scored! Oh, what a claim! And what a try!
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Sportsman for more live Betfred League One playoff action as Oldham take on North Wales Crusaders. Steve McCormack alongside me. Steve, big game this. The loser, their season's over. The winner gets one more chance to get themselves into that final next week. What's playoff football all about when you get to this stage?
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. This is what you do all your pre-season in the winter for, and you're building your season through, and you want to try and peak at this time of the season. So, playoff time, a lot at stake. As you mentioned, it's do or die for both teams today, and I think we're in for an absolute cracker.
And it's interesting the way these two teams come into this game. We saw Oldham live on the Sportsman last week, fall to quite a heavy defeat in the end at the hands of Doncaster. North Wales, on the other hand, a brilliant win for them up in Cumbria. There'll be two very different mindsets, won't there, coming into this game?
Yeah, I think so. I think from an Oldham point of view, I watched that game last week and they were really disappointing. It probably wasn't a reflection of the season so far, and I think Mike Ford, Brendan Sheridan would have asked a few questions first and foremost of themselves and the preparation, but I think that they'll have chucked a few questions at the team as well. The forward pack, I think from the very first second at Doncaster last week, they was beaten well. From a North Wales point of view, what a fantastic win at Workington to go up there. Stayed under the radar. Kyle Forster, really experienced coach and done it before in this environment. So two very different weeks, but Oldham need to step up, and it's whether North Wales can do it 2 weeks on the trot.
Just a quick note on where we are, Boundary Park. How good is it for a famous club like Oldham to be back at a fantastic home like this? They're permanent home from next year as well. Yeah,
well, you've only got to look at we're fortunate enough to speak to quite a few people while we've been in the ground so far today. This is a historic club, a fantastic club, and to be in this environment, the pitch is fantastic, the place is buzzing, and that can only be a good thing for this Oldham team. So, they've been around a few grounds, haven't they, over the last few years, and to be back home and to hopefully be here for the long term is fantastic for the club.
Well, it is all on the line this afternoon. The season is over for the loser, so let's catch up with both head coaches ahead of this massive playoff fixture. Mike, what's this week been like just gone in terms of picking your players up from that performance against Doncaster?
Yeah, it's been good because there's been plenty of learnings. I think the main thing as a coach is you try and get better every day, and what happened at Doncaster was certainly nothing to do with our physical or our tactical game plan, if you like. It was all to do with the mental side of the game. So, we worked very hard on the mental side and what might happen and the scenarios that we might have to face today against a very good Crusaders team.
Back at Boundary Park, obviously a place that you're going to make your permanent home from next year, but how much of an advantage will that be today, being familiar circumstances in front of hopefully a good crowd? Yeah,
I think home is, if you're a betting man and you're not too sure, you'll always go for the home team. I think we want to try and make this a fortress going forward. This is only our second game for 14 years here at Boundary Park, so we know we're going to get a long-term lease with Oldham Athletic, which have been brilliant with us, and hopefully if we start winning as an organisation week in, week out, the crowd, it's a rugby town, Oldham, and the crowd will start coming. So that's the plan. Fill it with kids who want to play for Oldham. I think we can achieve a lot here.
A North Wales Crusaders side coming in today, obviously they went to Cumbria and did it the hard way last weekend with that win. They'll be full of confidence. You must expect that they're going to be performing in a way that will require Oldham to be at their best.
Yeah, we're prepared for the very best of Crusaders. I think we've had a couple of close games against them this year. They've got a good side, like you said, they've got the momentum, they've got the confidence. We're on the back of a poor performance, so we're going to have to play well today, because our season will be over, and we've talked about this now. We're viewing this as a home quarter final. If we win, we're in the semi-final. If we don't, we're home. So we're going home. So big game, big game for the club, and one we're going to relish.
Josh Johnson into the side, obviously back from suspension. You've brought Jamie Ellis into the halves as well. Could you just talk us through that little change in the pivots?
Yeah, experience. Jamie came to the club at the end of July, and he's only just started playing. He tweaked an hamstring which we couldn't get right. Hopefully played 50 minutes last week, and hopefully he's 100% ready to go the full distance today. And Josh Johnson's again experienced 90 Super League caps, and at this level it's vital we have experience out there.
Well, Kai, coming to this game, against a good Oldham team, obviously a place in the next round of stake, but you must come into it with a huge amount of confidence off the back of the performance you put in last week.
Yeah, definitely. We caused an upset last week, and hopefully we're going to do the same again today. But yeah, we have struggled with injuries all year. That's been known, and we finally got a full fit team, and I think that's been the turnaround of our success. And obviously, we've gone the last 3 from 3. That's put us in this position, and hopefully we put our best foot forward today, and we carry on with the momentum. Has
the messaging this week been quite simple in that respect, just more of the same?
Yeah, exactly that. We've been completing high, which we've struggled with all year, and just when we've got the ball, we need to complete, put them in bad spaces, and hopefully we turn up on our day and we pull another upset up.
The scoreline for Oldham last week probably not a reflection of how they've been good, how good they've been all season. What are you expecting them to throw at you today?
Yeah, I've said to the lads, everyone has bad weeks. We've had bad weeks, and that looked like that was the case for Oldham last week. But obviously we did look at where Donny got them. We're going to try and replicate that, obviously playing in our own way. But we played Oldham twice. They beat us twice, pretty convincingly as well, to be really honest. So yeah, we've got to prepare for the best Oldham possible, and hopefully we're the best North Wales that we can be.
You mentioned you come into this as as underdogs looking to cause an upset. You come in the lowest ranked side left in the playoffs. Does that almost take the pressure off a little bit and give you a kind of clean slate to play off?
Mate, definitely. I think there's nothing dangerous than an underdog that's ready to go, fully fit, and yeah, I don't think anyone would have put Oldham North Wales here today, a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we're here on merit, and like I said, we'll put our best foot forward, and touch wood, we cause another upset.
And a perfect venue, a perfect setting for this kind of game. It's all set up for what should be a playoff classic.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's beautiful ground. It's it's what clubs like Oldham and League One and Rugby League want to be advertising. So fair credit to Oldham. It looks like they're doing all the great things off the field. And yeah, but we're here to spoil the party, hopefully.
Well, you're very welcome to the Sportsman Rugby League for this live Betfred League One playoff game. I'm sure many of you switching over after watching a classic brought to you by our friends on Channel 4 in the Super League. Let's hope we get another game that good here today, and who knows, we could be going all the way to Golden Point. Knockout Rugby League football, of course. Oldham versus North Wales Crusaders, a place in that preliminary final up for grabs as we continue on the road to promotion to the Betfred Championship. Oldham coming into this game off the back of that defeat to Doncaster last week. They line up as follows, with number 1 Greg McNally at fullback, Nick Rawsthorne, Connor Carr, Cian Morgan and Patrick Arvan make up the back line, with Martin Ridyard and Jamie Ellis in the halves. Joshua Johnson comes back from his 1-game suspension straight into the front row, with Matty Wilkinson at hooker and Pat Moran in the front 3, and George Hurst and Zach Baker are in the second row. Emerson Whittle completes the 13, locking in the pack. On the interchange bench, Georgian Parga drops down onto the bench after starting last week. Dean Meadows, Dom Newton and Luke Nelms complete the reinforcement for Mike Ford's side. And for the visitors this afternoon, North Wales, a brilliant win up in Cumbria last week, keeps their season alive. They start with Dave Gibbons at fullback, Josh Hughes-Lynch, Kieran Taylor, Matthew Reid, and the club record point scorer Rob Massam are in the back line, with Toby Hughes and Leon Hayes in the halves. Jack Horton, Jake Burns and Chris Barrett at the front row for the visitors, with Ryan Ellis, Cole Oakley and Carl Forster, the player coach, completing the 13. On the interchange bench for North Wales, Patrick Rainford, Callum Hazard are joined by Matthew Fletcher and Jordan Andrade. Well, alongside me to bring you this one, former Scotland head coach Steve McCormack. Steve, afternoons like this in the playoffs, we all love it, don't we? It's the best time of year.
Yeah, 100%. The pressure obviously ranks up a little bit. Both sides, real contrasting games last week coming into the game. Obviously Oldham really disappointed against Doncaster, but North Wales had a fantastic result against Workington, so really exciting. The stadium's buzzing. It's a fantastic day. The pitch is great, and I think, as you said, we all look forward to playoff time, and this will be a
belter.
Yeah, fantastic to be here at Boundary Park, the permanent home of Oldham from next season. They played here a couple of weeks ago. 1,200 people in. There's a really healthy crowd building up around us this afternoon. What a fantastic venue, and for such a famous old club, that this feels like the start of a really exciting new time in their history.
I hope so. I really hope so. I mentioned it earlier on, you know, the history of this proud club, and you've only got to look at what's happened over the last couple of weeks. New ownership. Long term, they're going to be here, hopefully. The crowd's fantastic. A lot of familiar faces from the times when I was coaching, you know, 20 years ago. We used to bring Whitehaven here, and it's just a really good place to come. And they've had the hardships, this club, you know, getting around and getting into different grounds and being a little bit of a yo-yo club performance-wise. So hopefully the changes off the field, the signings they're going to make on the field, it'll be the making of this club. But it's all about today. You know, they've got to win today to have any chance of getting promoted at the end of the year.
And they're coming up against a North Wales team that will just be sky high on confidence. Carl Forster, player coach, he's put together. It's a really young side, really, when you look across it, but a team packed full of exciting talent, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they go this afternoon.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job as Carl. Early in the season when he took over the job, I think he had a shoulder operation himself, and I think they may have lost the first 6 or 7 games, and he came back and they went on a really good run. So he's a good coach, good experienced coach, and I think what you'll see today is 2 contrasting styles. You've mentioned a really young team, you know, both halfbacks for North Wales, Toby Hughes and Leon Hayes, really exciting, quick, you know, got youth on the side. In contrast to that, you've got the Oldham halfbacks in Ridyard and Jamie Ellis, you know, vast experience, played at the highest level. I think that battle, you know, the youth against the experience, will be a really interesting one.
Yeah, I was going to mention Jamie Ellis comes into the team, a late signing, so to speak, for Oldham. They've been getting him up to match fitness. He's going to bring so much experience, isn't he, into that halfback pairing alongside Martin Ridyard.
I think so, yeah. He's a great player, isn't he? You know, he's had a really good career. On his day, without doubt, even, you know, at the latter end of his career, he will be one of the best halfbacks in this league. However, he's not played much this season. You know, they've got to hold the ball. The forwards have got to make inroads into this North Wales pack, something they didn't do against Doncaster last week. And if they do that, you will see Jamie Ellis come to the fore.
Well, it's a cracking atmosphere building up around us here at Boundary Park. A really healthy crowd building up in this fantastic new stand at this famous old ground. And hopefully we're going to get a game of rugby league football to suit all to play for. As we've mentioned, for the loser, that's the end of their season. For the winner, they go on to fight another day in that preliminary final against either Doncaster or Hunslet, who also play this afternoon. And then beyond that, the promotion playoff final, a place in the championship up for grabs. And we talk about, you know, at the higher end of the game, Steve, what it means to go to Old Trafford and what it means to play in those Super League playoff games. But for teams and players at this level, the opportunity, that promotion, that's a career highlight opportunity, isn't it? It's
just as big without a doubt. You know, Old Trafford's fantastic, and, you know, walking down that tunnel at Old Trafford. But I've been fortunate enough to experience grand finals when coaching wise, not on the winning side, unfortunately, but for these players who week in, week out, you know, what we've got to remember as well, all these players work. You know, they work hard throughout the week, and they go training 2 or 3 times, you know, with the respective clubs. All these fans, etc., to get to a grand final, to get promoted, is just as big for these people within this stadium as any Super League player. And the dream very much alive for both of these clubs. Doncaster and Hunslet, of course, with the slightly easier route to that final, but you only have to look at the league table in League One to see how congested and close it was, and anyone can beat anyone at this level. Yeah, they can. It's all about what happened, you know, what happens on the day. I mean, the last couple of times that these two teams have played each other, Oldham's won. Very close games, but Oldham have got 2 out of 2, but that counts for absolutely nothing. They came away from Workington last week, you know, North Wales Crusaders, with a fantastic win to go up there and to do what they did. They was really aggressive and got the results from that. On the flip side as well, you know, it's 2 out of 2 so far for Oldham, but there's a bit of pressure on them today as well. A lot of questions would have been asked by Mike Ford and the coaching staff, and there's massive expectations going forward with this club. So a really exciting afternoon, I think, we've got ahead, but I don't think you can read anything to previous games. Well, Mike Ford will be a very proud man today, of course, after the performance of St George last night. Will he be even prouder in a few hours' time with an Oldham side in the next round of the Betfred League One playoffs?
Teams are just lining up in the tunnel, ready to go. Both sets of fans to our left and our right in fine voice. And here come the visitors, led by player coach Carl Forster, North Wales Crusaders. Huge opportunity for them to spring another upset like they did last week up in Cumbria and take themselves another step closer to the championship. Pleasure to have you with us here on the Sportsman Rugby League. 80 minutes of Betfred League One action on the way, and we'll do our best to keep you updated with the other scores today as well. But this is the only place to be at 3 o'clock on this increasingly cloudy Sunday afternoon, but it's still very warm, still very humid, Steve. That will play a part, won't it? Yeah, absolutely. You have to hold the ball. Kicking game's going to be vitally important. We may even see, a couple of teams just kicking a little bit early, making these big middles just chase back, getting that energy away from them. But you have to hold the ball. The little things, not necessarily the big plays and the big extravagant, moves. It is the little things that can get you these playoff wins and to hopefully get you to a grand final. Well, Oldham just making his way here. Mike Ford just getting a few last words of wisdom into his team, and they've got a real kind of bounce back job to do today, haven't they? Because they were beaten in all areas by Doncaster last week. An uncharacteristic performance from Oldham. They've got it feels like the first 10-15 minutes are going to be very important for them to just kind of banish any ghosts of last week. Yeah, 100%. The game last week, from that very first second, I think Doncaster just marched that Oldham pack back 30-40 metres. One thing what Mike Ford will have done is he'll have highlighted, you can't necessarily win a game in the first 10-15 minutes, but you can lose one. And I think Michael certainly highlighted that as a big priority for this big Oldham pack. So here we go then. Here come the home side, led out by so much experience, of course. Martin Ridyard, Greg McNally, Jamie Ellis, Patrick Arvan as well. All been there and done it, but they've got a big job on their hands this afternoon to keep their season alive. And a cracking afternoon of rugby league on the way. Carl Forster said pre-game, pressure is very much off for them. Make no mistake, he'll very much want his team to be still in the comp, still in the chat at the end of this game, and it will be North Wales who get us underway. Kicking from right to left. A really strong band of North Wales fans down to the left-hand side. So we're underway at Boundary Park. Live Betfred League One playoff action, and that has gone all the way through. An early mistake from the Oldham three-quarter line, letting that bounce through, so a goal line dropout. And Steve, an early opportunity for North Wales to get their hands on the football in a good position. Yeah, it's a nightmare start there now. I think they've got to be on that back line there. I think it's Rawsthorne, I think it's Pat Moran and Ridyard. Just a lack of that communication, and it's just given North Wales Crusaders just an early opportunity to put some pressure on that Oldham defensive line. So a big chance for North Wales then to get some wind in their sails early on in this game. We spoke about how important the first 10-15 minutes are going to be. That's a really good dropout, actually. It's gone all the way back to the North Wales 40-metre line, and they will start this set just inside their own half. So it's Jake Burns at hooker, and a really strong carry from Jack Horton early on, bringing the ball up to the 40-metre line. Burns at the play, the ball drops it off to Forster. Forster brings it up, keeps it in hand, met well by the Oldham defence, turn around. It's an early win in the tackle for the home side. Burns now bringing us out to the left-hand side. Barrett takes it up. Brought down 15, maybe 17 metres short from the try line. And again, North Wales favour this left edge. Oakley cut down inside the 10 metres. This is the last. The hands up from the referee. What can they do on this fifth tackle? They keep the ball in hand for the time being. They're looking for the numbers out wide. Oldham's defence just does enough. Jamie Ellis clinging on in the tackle. but a good place to turn the ball over in that first set.
It was. It did really well, Jamie Ellis there now, because they start that right edge, that left to right side shot from a Crusader point of view, and I think they looked to target Ellis on that play as well, and he held his line, went up and was in the same sync as everybody else within that, and a good defensive start from Oldham.
Well, Arvan takes the first carry, gets a quick play, and Wilkinson brings play over to the right hand side. Mike Ford spoke about Jamie Ellis's fitness coming into this. I'm sure that's something that North Wales would have spoken about, not potentially targeting him in defence, but Arvan with his second carry in the set. And now Josh Johnson. Super League experience with Salford. Olgar, of course. Now applying his tray for Oldham, back in the side after a suspension. Ridyard drops that off to Pat Moran, who's brought down just short of the 40 on the last. So kicking from just inside their own half is Ellis, who puts the ball high up into the air. It's hanging for a long, long time. It's a really good take.
Yeah, and I think you can track that right back to the pressure that Ryan Ellis actually put on the kicker. He made the Oldham player just kick on his terms. Those little things, as we mentioned pre-game, just enables the back three to catch the ball and just to put them on the front foot like Crusaders are now doing.
Shouts for a lay hit. Referee's not interested though, and Oldham will carry the ball off their own goal line.
Yeah, I think it's a nice kick there from Hayes, but again, we mentioned the previous pressure, and that occasion it was Josh Johnson just putting Hayes under pressure, and then McNally just had an easy take, well positioned as you'd expect from an experienced player like Greg McNally, and it's just a real game of chess at the moment. Both sides just trying each other out, kicking well. And it's going to be interesting who breaks first in this next couple of minutes.
Yeah, it's felt like a really intense opening 4 or 5 minutes to this game. Crusaders with that early good ball possession, but since then it's been a real arm wrestle as Wilkinson shoots out for the ruck and drops it off to Moran. Moran to Ellis. Now the kick comes in from McNally looking for that corner. Dave Gibbons does well to get across and mop up, but he stopped just a couple of metres short of his own line, and there's a knock-on in there, I think, at the play the ball. And Oldham have been gifted an opportunity right on that North Wales line to put them under pressure with the kick and then come out with the reward.
Yeah, it was just that link-up, wasn't it? McNally just dabbing that ball through to Arvan. The thing what this Oldham team's got, they've got forwards, like Pat Moran, that can just play like an extra half back in that middle. And what he'll do there, he'll just link up with both Ridyard and Ellis, and then just they'll try and find McNally as that indicator. On that occasion, they put a great kick in. Real good work from Dave Gibbons, but Crusaders just came up with an error, and it's a fantastic bit of field position now for Oldham.
Well, Oldham, plenty of attacking options, and they've stacked them left and right of this scrum, directly under the sticks, 10 metres out. Got some shape over on this right edge. It looks like that's where they're going to come. Wilkinson, Ridyard, just dummies, keeps the ball in hand, steps in. He's stopped 5 metres short. Now they come over to the left-hand side. Wilkinson drops it off to Johnson. Johnson met well by the North Wales defence. Wilkinson again. Moran just looks to shape up, square up his man, can't quite beat them on the outside shoulder. North Wales doing a good job in defence so far on this set. Wilkinson again comes out to the left. Gives the pump, keeps the ball in hand. Crusaders done another good job of slowing him down. Ellis then drops it off to Moran, who just looks to hit and turn his way through. But he stopped right on the line, and this is the last tackle. One last chance. It's a short ball from Wilkinson, but it's been lost over the line. And North Wales survive a set on their own goal line. You'd have to say a real defensive win for them, Steve.
Yeah, what a tackle that was as well. Just putting his body on the line, and it had to be as well. It was a good play of the ball there from Moran, and it was a one-on-one. And what a fantastic hit there from Ryan Ellis there, putting his body on the line. We can see this as well there now. It's just a simple one-on-one, shoulder contact, and there was no way that Oldham were getting over that line. Big raps to Ryan Ellis.
Yeah, it was that Baker who was looking to force his way over the Hughes Lynch there off his wing, getting involved in yardage. Now Forster again, been really busy in this opening phase of the game, brings his side up to halfway. And that's Chris Barrett now, bring it up, and this is the last tackle. So they come over to the left-hand side. Leon Hayes puts the ball high up in the air, real twisting and turning one for Nick Rawsthorne, but he deals with it really well. Passes out to Greg McNally, who's found a little bit of space for his team over on the left. Arvan just managing to get himself through a little bit of a gap. And a good start then to this set for Oldham. We said that the arm wrestle was going to be important, but this has been a really relentless first 7 or 8 minutes, hasn't it? Yeah, both sides absolutely, you know, starting the game really, really well. Really impressed with that last set there now, you know, linking up from the back three as well, and just moving this big North Wales forwards around as well. You know, just a little bit of intent from this Oldham team, and you know, just the Ellis and Ridyard and McNally, just quite ominous, I think, for this North Wales Crusaders team. So George Hurst will play the ball on the 40. Wilkinson drops it off to Emerson Whittle, just gets himself free. Makes a few extra metres off the back of it, so a potential platform here for Oldham on the last tackle. Ridyard didn't have a huge amount of space to work with, but he's put it up in the air, and Rawsthorne's brought it in. North Wales just doing enough. But an ominous fifth tackle option, that it was something that Oldham struggled with last week, was just that conversion on fifth tackle, but they look dangerous there. Yeah, and them are the little efforts there, that kick chase. They've got North Wales now pinned exactly where they want them. You know, an onside chase, it's a great kick that from Ridyard as well. You know, good challenge for the ball. And again, all the hard work from the first, you know, getting that set from McNally and Rawsthorne, and then Arvan has just enabled them to get a good kick, put pressure on North Wales, and for the second time in consecutive sets, they've come up with an error in their own 10. Yeah, 2 sets in a row. An unforced error, really, from North Wales, has put themselves under pressure, dealt with it superbly last time around, but it's only going to get harder for themselves, having to defend on their own goal line. And it just feels in the last few minutes that pendulum's just starting to swing in Oldham's favour a little bit. Definitely, and I think the key, it'd be great if they could score now, Oldham, but they just have to be patient. I think the key to it is, you know, they've just got to get this field position, put pressure on this North Wales defence, and it's a hot day, and as you mentioned, and they've got a good opportunity this set. So they come out to the left, Wilkinson to Ellis. There's an overlap here if they can use it. Arvan for the corner, and he's gone over against his former club. And Patrick Arvan opens the score in a brilliant finish on that left-hand side. There's a really good scrum move, actually. Greg McNally switched over to the left-hand side to cause the overlap, and then it was just a simple ball through the hands and a really good finish from Arvan. Yeah, it was class. You look at the quality of the skill there now. It was, you know, Wilkinson that jumped out, and as you mentioned, McNally had just gone that late line around. Arvan just kept his sideline. And just the execution of that skill, as you'd expect from that calibre of players. Great ball as well there from Jamie Ellis as well. Took the ball right to the line. A fantastic finish from Pat Arvan. Yeah, brilliant from Arvan. Just did enough, got himself low, backed himself to stay in the field of play. And we just said that things were starting to maybe swing in Oldham's direction. Well, the scoreboard's swinging their direction as well now. First try of the game, and after being nilled last week, to get an early try on the board be a real confidence booster for Mike Ford and his team. Yeah, and I think they've started with some real intent. You know, they're not just going one up. You know, it has the last set there now. They've been prepared to gamble and throw the ball about right from that very first set. You know, the back three combining, and that's the difference between making 50 or 60 metres on a kick return or just making 30 or 40. And it came off the back of a good kick from Ridyard, got some good field position, and then just a little bit of class at the end of it. So Ridyard with the kick from way out on that sideline, and he's got it. Absolutely nailed it, Martin Ridyard. So 4 becomes 6, and Oldham will be very happy with their first 10 minutes work after a poor start. They've settled themselves, got themselves on the scoreboard. Patrick Arvan
I think it really starts as well, that just from Matt Wilkinson. You know, he went into that 13 position at the back of the scrum, and you know, it's only a very slight little bit of detail, but him jumping out on that left-hand side has just held one of the North Wales Crusaders defenders up, and that's allowed Ellis and McNally just to loop round and give Pat Arvan something that he's done for all his career.
So back underway. Dealt with well this time by Oldham, and Rawsford carries, but he's met well by the North Wales Crusaders chase, and they'll be disappointed to find themselves 6 points down, because up until the last couple of minutes they've been very good. Yeah, I agree. I think the key aspect of that is where you turn the ball over, and I think the last couple of times they've had the ball, they've turned the ball over in their own 10 metres, and with the players that Oldham's got, they can't afford to do that. Well, Oldham looking to stretch out wide early on in the set again. There was a big hit gone in. I think it's Ridyard. McNally perhaps, who's still down, the fullback. In the meantime, Arvan, fresh from scoring, looking to make some inroads up that left-hand side. McNally still down in back play, retrieving treatment. But here come Oldham over the halfway line, Emerson Whittle. McNally back to his feet now. This is the 5th. Ridyard puts it high up in the air, real swirling one, taken well in the end by Hughes Lynch over on that left edge. Still going, looking for a little bit of space. Wrestled down in the end by Rawsford. Crusaders with the ball in their hand for the first time in what feels like a while. Yeah, they just need to, you know, you're looking now just the energy that they've had to do defending now, and Crusaders are really tight, you know, so that's just enabled the Oldham defenders just to tighten up a little bit and win these collisions. So I'd expect Hayes to kick a little bit early, I think, and try and pin this Oldham team back in their own half. So Burns brings it out from the right hand side. Forster now takes it up for his side. This is the last. So a good kick needed here from the Crusaders. In the end, it's just stabbed through to that corner, and it is a good kick. Just pinning Oldham in, making them play out of their own 10, and giving North Wales the opportunity just to have a look at this end of the field for the first time. Yeah, I think that's a great kick from Toby Hughes, really. Just game management for such a young player. And I thought it was going to go over the dead ball line, giving Oldham 7 tackles, but they just looked very, very tired in that set, did Crusaders. And I think when you're half back, you know, just identified that, got the ball into touch, and just enabled them to get a little bit of breath and look to put a big defensive set in now. So Cart with the carry, followed up by Rawsford, who runs from the play the ball. And already a reasonable exit set from Oldham. They'll be happy with the meters that they've made so far. George Hurst, with that bandage round his head, makes another good carry out to halfway. And now Josh Johnson just drops his shoulder, pins his ear back, looks for that gap in the defence that isn't there. So keeping it very much up the middle. Pat Moran shrugs off one tackle, still going but eventually straight down. This is the 5th, dead centre, about 35 metres out. Ridyard puts a tall one up. It's Arvan underneath it, and he's managed to knock it back, and they could be in again on the left-hand side. They are. A really good kick from Martin Ridyard. It was Arvan who got himself underneath it, and it's Cian Morgan, the benefactor. And Oldham pushed themselves out to a 10-0 lead. Yeah, it's relentless, isn't it, from this Oldham team? Everybody's doing the jobs again. It was a really good exit set, as you mentioned, you know, coming out from that, just the backs. I think it started off with Morgan just getting a quick play of the ball, and then Pat Moran took the ball really strong. If you look, there's no kick pressure there on Ridyard early in the game. There was, but then you've got a real good chase for Arvan, and then just a little tip on, and then an outstanding finish again. But all the hard work was done 3 or 4 tackles before that set. They have a good kick, good chase, and they get a really good reward for that. If you buy a ticket, you've got a chance of winning, which is exactly what Oldham did with that high kick. Arvan just made a nuisance of himself. Zach Baker mopped up, and then a simple pass out wide. Cian Morgan won't have too many easier finishes than that. And Oldham will be very happy with the start that they've made here at Boundary Park. Ridyard with the opportunity to improve this 10-0 lead into a 12-point lead. And he does exactly that.
I think we're just seeing the influence that somebody like Martin Ridyard can have on a game. You know, we mentioned about the experience and maybe being disappointed last week and not having a forward pack to work off, but everything that they've done, Ridyard has been at the back of it. You know, whether it's been a kick, whether it's been organising, whether it's been an early shift. And then all the rest of his teammates have been on the same page, whether it be a kick chase, aggressive contact in the middle. But it's just highlighting how important Martin Ridyard is to this team.
It'd be interesting. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in Oldham training this week with Mike Ford, because as you mentioned last week against Doncaster, they were on the back foot for the full 80 really. But today, the carrying from the forward pack's been superb. A lot of taking the ball flat to the line, flying in, and that one has gone out on the full. So a trick that worked for the Crusaders on the first kick-off, now going against them, and then probably a pretty good metaphor for how this game's been in the last 5 minutes.
It was, yeah. It nearly happened the very first kick-off in the game, didn't it? And they got the results from that. But it's a bit of a short pitch as well, being a football pitch. But Kyle Forster will be fuming on that. You know, they're under the pump. You know, Oldham's getting everything their own way, and that's a nightmare for them. But you mentioned this week, you know, the build-up to this Oldham game. I honestly think it would have been personal, really, really personal. You know, in every facet of the game last week against Doncaster, from 1 to 17, they were beaten. So I think Mike Ford would have took it really personal, first and foremost on himself, how he prepared the team, but most importantly his actual, you know, the players. You know, did you give the best? Did you know, our supporters see the best of you? They didn't do, but on this occasion they are now so far.
So Emerson Whittle takes the carry in from the penalty and brings it up to the 20-metre line, and this feels like a really important set, doesn't it?
100%, you know, and it just making, you know, that these big Crusaders forwards tackle are in midfield, so, you know, the attackers are split. McNally's just looping around on this late line, and you've got Moran just setting this mark, and he expects a shift from both half-backs again.
He's got really lively, aggressive carries so far, hasn't he, Pat Moran? As they come over to this left edge, which is definitely the one they've been favouring. The look out, and just not quite the execution there for Arvan in the corner on this occasion. So North Wales survive. You can see again, they've obviously identified that left edge as somewhere where they're going to have some joy, and just slightly off the mark on that occasion.
Yeah, they'll be disappointed with it. It was Ridyard again, just coming in there, McNally looping round. You know, just that extra quality of skill. You know, Ridyard's took it right to the teeth of this Crusaders defensive line, and you have to take those. You know, if they are good enough to get there, you know, to a game next week, and know there's a long way to go in this one, then the chances that you have to take.
In a strange kind of way, the comfort for North Wales will be that the tries that Oldham have scored have come off North Wales errors. The knock-on that led to the scrum, and then the inability to deal with the kick, they'll feel that if they can cut those out, they're still in this game.
I think so, and they've not had no field position either. You know, they've had a couple of errors just from kick chases, and you know, that execution's been really good from Oldham. But this is a good set now from this North Wales Crusaders team. Yeah,
Jake Burns making some good meters from the play of the ball there, just finding a little corridor of space to get himself through. And now Forster brings us out to the left-hand side. Matthew Reid just manages to get himself down to the ground before he runs out of space on that left edge. Massum at acting half brings the ball out. And it's just a little chip kick almost for Rawsthorne to deal with, which he does. And Oldham will start with the ball pretty much on their own 20.
Yeah, I think
again they're looking to put a spread play on early in the set.
Yeah, it's definitely a tactic there. I'd be disappointed if I was a North Wales Crusaders player there. That chase has got to be more aggressive. You know, the one thing that the Oldham team's done, you know, they've challenged for every kick and they've got rewards, and you know, North Wales Crusaders just quite haven't done that.
Okay, Morgan just chucking a few steps in to make a few extra yards. And Oldham now with the ball just over the halfway line. Josh Johnson just managing to squeeze a few extra metres out of that carry, and it's Pat Moran again. Really busy in this first 20-minute spell from him. And Wilkinson at the base of the ruck will just bring it out to the left-hand side. And Jordan Parger, I think that was, who's coming to the game. Puts the ball up into the air.
Better kick pressure as well there from Jake Burns. You know, something he's not done the last couple of seasons, and that just allowed the back three of the Crusaders just to get in good field position. But again, big wrap, things that maybe people don't see, but Jake Burns again just working really, really hard for his team.
And probably, it was only on their own 20, but probably North Wales' best starting position in a set for a while. Forster brings them up over halfway. Jack Howson now with the carry up the middle. This is the last. Kick pressure important again. What can they do? They come out to the right-hand side. They keep the ball in hand on this occasion. They might have identified a bit of a mismatch here. They're keeping it alive. But in the end, Ryan Ellis just running out of space, and Oldham's defence does well.
I think it's good defence that from Oldham, but the one thing that it's done through Toby Hughes there now was the last tackle. You know, maybe he should have kicked and got a little bit more field position, but he had a little change of tempo, just ran, and what that will do, it'll just put a little bit of doubt in this Oldham defensive line. Are they going to run it? Are they going to kick it? But it was good play from Toby Hughes.
Well, we mentioned that Jordan Parker has come onto the field. That is in place of Jamie Ellis. There were questions about his fitness, of course, coming into this game. They've taken the risk on him, and it looks as if he is struggling with that hamstring. So unsure as to whether we'll see any more of him this afternoon. But it's Jordan Parker on in his place. And that really, probably the one downside of this opening 22 minutes.
Yeah, I think,
from an Oldham perspective.
I think they're prepared for this as well. You know, you're one man down there now, and if you've got a hamstring injury, generally when you go off,
in again on this left-hand side, really strong carry from Zach Baker. Couldn't quite get his arm loose to get the offload away. Arvan lurking on that left edge again. This is the last, and Parga swings it out to the right-hand side. Ridyard's kick takes a bit of a deflection. Rawsthorne mops it up and then stabs a kick through of himself. And he's done well with the kick pressure. Leon Hayes just putting the ball to safety. It'll be a goal line dropout, but another opportunity for Oldham to build some pressure. Yeah, I think it's a big set both defensively and offensively now, isn't it? I think Rawsthorne have been a bit of an unsung hero for this Oldham team whenever he's played. But it's a good kick again from that man. Ridyard, little bit lucky. But again, just a right-footed kick there now. Leon Hayes did really, really well to get back. But they're under massive pressure now. So the dropout up to halfway. Pat Moran will carry it back with interest. Another really strong carry from the Irish international. Oldham looking to turn the screw after a really encouraging opening 24 minutes for them. 12 points to nil. Can they improve that? There's a bit of a mess at the play the ball, and the referees are judged that it's been knocked on. So a reprieve for North Wales, but they've got to start making these let-offs count. Yeah, they do. They can't keep doing this. You know, they can't keep putting them under pressure there. But now a little bit of an old stager there, I think, from Kyle Forster. Did have his hand on the ball. They'll be disappointed with that Oldham, because I honestly thought that the Crusaders were ready to crack. But the one thing that this Crusaders team has got, they've got character and they've got some experience in Kyle Forster, and has used every single bit of that experience to come up with a good play for the Crusaders. So North Wales bring the ball off their own 20. And now Massam carrying up to halfway. Big part of North Wales, of course, over the last few years. And again, Massam with his hands on the ball. Stopped on this left edge. So Cole Oakley acting half. It's a slow play, and immediately Leon Hayes finds himself under some pressure. And this is the last, and this is probably the most advanced position that they've had a fifth tackle playing for a while. The ball's gone to ground. Parker's dropped on it. The referee signalling a knock on. We're going to see which way he points. One of those where it's kind of bobbling all over the shop. And it's going to be a repeat set for North Wales, 20 metres out from the Oldham line. And a first real chance, apart from the very early exchanges of this game, for them to have a really good look at putting this try line under some duress. Yeah, and let's see what they've got here as well. I think previous sets, both halfbacks haven't combined. They're just splitting this field into a 50. They call it 50, so both halfbacks are split. Well, let's have a see if they can combine and come up with something. So it's Hayes looking to just come back on the inside. Jake Burns picks up the play of the ball, 10 metres out. Chris Barrett just getting himself free, stopped a metre or so short, and they bring it to the left-hand side. Hayes He drops it off to Oakley. This is Dave Gibbons from fullback. Just feigned the kick and he's lost possession, and Oldham immediately looking to counter. Parga bringing it up over the 10-metre line. A disappointing end to that set for North Wales.
Yeah, couldn't quite see what they was aiming to do then. You know, they zigzagged a little bit, weren't quite sure which part of the field they wanted to target. And that's disappointing. I think Dave Gibbons, who's had a real good game, to be fair, to start off with, been really busy, but he'll be really disappointed with that.
So Arvan with the carry up to the 30-metre mark. And now they come out to this left-hand side. Zach Baker making some inroads on that left edge. Absolutely flown by here. Nearly half an hour in as Parga drops it off to Dom Newton onto the field. And Wilkinson gives it to Moran. Moran then fires a deep pass out. And there's some space over on this left edge. Oldham fans around us felt that was a little bit high. Nothing coming in Connor Carr's way. So they'll come out to the left-hand side again. Ridyard brings it up to the line. Drops it off to Dom Newton. He will settle the play just short of that North Wales 20-metre line. This is the last tackle. What can they do here? They come out to the left again. Ridyard, very similar to that try. 5 or 10 minutes ago, puts it up into the air and it bounces down again. Arvan could be in for a second in the game, but the referee's called it back. It's come off an Oldham player. And again, by the skin of their teeth, North Wales survive.
Yeah, how difficult are these kicks that Ridyard's putting up there now. Greg McNally onside chase, Arvan, Cian Morgan, and then just unfortunately got a knock on. There was no stopping in there. Imagine stopping Pat Arvan that close to the line, but you know, it's just impressive work from Oldham. They're doing all the little things well, they're kicking well, they're ending the set exactly where they want the Crusaders to be, and it's a real tough afternoon so far for them.
Well, it feels like we've spent a lot of this opening half now looking over to our right-hand side into North Wales territory, but that's a good carry. Backed up by Jake Burns at 9, trying to get himself through. He gives it to Hughes Lynch, who in the end is brought down inside Oldham territory, and now Barrett just brings it up, and there's some good hands over on this left edge. Reed, I think he was looking for Massam on his shoulder and just overrun it a little bit, but they keep the ball alive, and there could be some space over on this right-hand side. Ellis gets the offload away. Toby Hughes just stopped short. But a big opportunity here. Callum Hazard off the bench, brought down, but they're going to get a penalty. The Crusaders. So 6 more tackles, you would think.
Yeah, I think it was offside. I think the referee's saying that Oldham were offside. I think Kyle Forster wants a sin bin in here now because it stopped that Crusaders momentum, but this is what they're going to have to do, the Crusaders. I feel as though they've got to do something a little bit different, whether it's offload, second phases. They can't go one out. And I think this is the first time they've got sustained pressure on this Oldham line.
Well, this is a big moment in this game. Half an hour into this first half, and an opportunity for North Wales to just get some points on the board as we approach the break. They come over to the left-hand side. It's a step from Hayes, almost jinking his way through, but he's cut down in the end. And the Oldham defence has done a good job of slowing that ruck down. And then it's the error from Jake Burns. And a penalty. I'm not sure if that was for a bit of dissent, a bit of afters.
Yeah, I think it potentially could be offside. I think he loses the ball there. Well, I'm not sure. It's a big call, isn't it, that? I think he's actually given a penalty for offside. I couldn't quite see that. But disappointing end again. They've done all that hard work, played really inventive football with the ball, the Crusaders. You know, Leon Hayes just taking them on, Kyle Forster coming more into the game. And then tackle 2, they just let this Oldham team off the hook.
So Oldham just weathered a little bit of a storm. First time in this game, really. They won't mind just slowing things down a little bit here. It's been a frantic first half hour, really. So much of the action has been at either end. I don't feel like the middle 20 of the field has seen too much action at all.
Yeah. I think the key is Oldham's took the chances, haven't they? They've kicked the ball better, they've chased the ball better, and they've taken the chances, and that's totally the opposite to what this Crusaders team have done.
So Luke Nelms plays the ball just short of halfway. It's dropped off to Emerson Whittle and Matty Wilkinson. He makes 6 or 7 metres before he's stopped. Wilkinson now gives it to Luke Nelms onto the field off the bench. Oldham just rotating their subs a little bit, as we've mentioned. Jamie Ellis off the field with that recurring hamstring problem. Unclear as to whether we'll see him again. Now they come over to the right hand side. Ridyard puts another towering kick up, and it's dropped, but backwards by Gibbons. North Wales starting right on their own try line yet again. Yeah, I think it's interesting as well. It was a beautiful day when we first started, wasn't it? But now the wind's round, the rain's in, and I think, you know, Gibbons he's dropped the last couple of balls as well. That ball's swirling around, and they're not going to keep getting away with that. Yeah, I drove over in beautiful conditions at lunchtime, as we've been here over the last few hours. That cloud cover's just come in. There's some flags in the stand to our left-hand side that are blowing a fair bit in the wind. So conditions definitely getting more challenging as the game goes on. Forster, good carry, getting his team on the front foot on 5th tackle. And this will go low along the ground from Hayes. Rawsform takes his time dealing with it, brings it up to the 20-metre line. It just feels like Oldham have got that little bit of an element of control back after a couple of minute period where North Wales were just starting to turn the screw a bit. Yeah, definitely. I think they've slowly come back into the game. I think this last 5 or 10 minutes as the Crusaders team, and you know, this Oldham team have been made to work hard, but that's a good carry again there from Arvan, just getting them on the front foot. And then when they get that, they just tend to flood forward, go nice and fast, and then work off the back of a kicking game. But that arm wrestle's just come back into it, and this next 6 or 7 minutes is going to be really important for both teams. So Oldham about 7 metres into that North Wales half. Parga brings it out, drops it off to Kean Morgan. No metres on offer there though. Really good line speed, pressure from the North Wales defence. So this is the last. Parga will just stab that into touch. Very savvy kind of game management style kick. That's all Oldham need to do, isn't it, for the rest of this first half? Just see this out. Yeah, I also think that's a bit of a compliment to this Crusaders team as well. You know, they've had some good ball. I think Kyle Forster's been tremendous. Everything's going through him. But previously, they've kicked the ball high, and Gibbons, I'd have been tempted to go high again. You know, Gibbons' confidence won't be that good. But I think that is a compliment and a big well done to that Crusaders defence, because Oldham's just got the ball in touch, got the breath back, and backed themselves with this defensive set. And a penalty for North Wales to piggyback them up the field a bit more. So an opportunity then for the Crusaders to get themselves into good field position and have another knock at that Oldham try line before half-time. Decent enough kick. Be about 30 metres or so out from the Oldham try line with a full set of tackles in their pocket. A few little glimpses from North Wales. But they've got it in them to breach this try line, but nothing doing yet. What can they do with this set? Ball comes out to the left-hand side. Matt Fletcher on the field now. He brings it up to the 20. Pretty much dead centre, some options left and right. They come over to the left-hand side. Hayes drops it back in the middle for Hazard. And Hazard stopped 10 metres short. Again, little drop-off ball for Forster. Almost enough space for him to just wriggle his way through, but he's cut down 5 metres short. Looks like they're shaping to this left-hand side again. And it's Fletcher. Just stopped as he thought he'd got his nose through the gap. And they go a short drop-off ball for Hazard. Oldham's defence there in numbers. He gets the offload away, but only to an Oldham player, and the Roughheads survive.
Yeah, I think they've got to pull the trigger a little bit more there. I think this Crusaders team, I think, they've got good field position. I think this Oldham team's tiring a little bit. They did have numbers from that left to right, and I just felt as though they wasted a couple of players within that. It was an offload. It was too tight. And I think you need to get your players like your Toby Hughes on there, get in with the ball. I think your Leon Hayes, I think Dave Gibbons needs to be linking in and being a bit more of an indicator. I think it's just a little bit too conservative to break down this Oldham defence.
It's Oldham with the ball on their own 10-metre line. 4 minutes or so left in this half. That clock on your screen, just a guide, of course, not linked up to the referee's watch. But there's not been too many stoppages, so I don't think we'll be far off. Oldham lead 12-0 here at Boundary Park. Real excitement around this club, returning to a long-term home, a home that hopefully they'll be able to build on. But they won't be thinking about next season at the moment, because they've got a big 40+ minutes on their way in this League One playoff game against North Wales, a job only half done. Now they bring it over to the right-hand side. Nelms just drops it off on his inside shoulder to Dom Newton. Newton cut down 5 metres inside that North Wales half. This is the last tackle, so they'll come back to McNally. Ridyard, apologies, who puts a high one in the air, and it's taken. I think it was Parga who got himself underneath it, but he's been wrapped up by that North Wales defence. But a bit of a scare for the Crusaders about how easy that was for them to regain possession.
It was, and if you look at Gibbons, I think that's just because of what's happened in the previous kicks there. Like I said, I mentioned about being disappointed with the previous kick when they rolled into touch, because I felt as though the success they've had from kicks and McNally chasing and sprinting to that ball, the back three of this Crusaders team are really hesitant, and that was a really good example of that.
So North Wales coming off their own 15-metre line. Good carry from Masson. Very happy to get his hands dirty and do those big carries out of the yardage, helping his middles out. And that's a pretty good exit set, all told, so far from a North Wales perspective, as they look to get themselves over that halfway line. And that'll be, shoots of encouragement for Cole Forster in that respect. Yeah, that's
60 metres they've made there, haven't they? And Forster's got the ball now, a little tip onto Hayes, and the chance in the round on this left edge.
Left edge with Reed. Ross, Fawn and Carr just do enough between them to bring him down. But some good metres made in this set. Hayes looks to kick to the left, changes his mind, and that's a real challenger out to the right. Hughes Lynch does really well to bring it in, but Arvan just with the nous about him to see him into touch.
I think that's the best set of the game from North Wales Crusaders. As you mentioned, Massam again, who's been immense bringing the ball away, but left-footed kicker from Hayes there now. I think Arvan, using all his experiences, let the winger catch the ball, and I think Josh Hughes Lynch did really well, but Arvan's just let him catch it, made sure he didn't give a penalty away, and Oldham's got the ball in their own 10-metre line.
Yeah, he's been very good, I think, so far in this game. Arvan opened the score and, of course, rolled back the years with some big carries up the middle as well. And a really dangerous game against his former club. Very pleased with the way things sit as we approach half-time. Wilkinson picking it up from the play the ball, keeps it in hand. He's stopped just short of the 40-metre line. Ridyard doing the same thing, so just very basic Route 1 rugby from Oldham, exactly what they need to be doing as the clock runs down. McNally under some pressure there. Looked caught in two minds almost about what he wanted to do. We've still got some tackles in hand here. There's George Hurst with the carry. Now I come over to this left edge. Baker just looking to muscle his way for a few more metres. And Wilkinson brings out to the left to Parga. Parga just evading a few tackles, finding himself a little space, still going, shrugs off another one. Goes back for a second tussle with Cole Forster. And Oldham with an opportunity. Well, I say an opportunity is an opportunity wasted.
Yeah,
lost possession at the play of the ball.
Be interesting again. We've got that whole stager in Kyle Forster in the tackle here. He'll have his arm on the ball. Let's have a see what happens.
Yeah. Nothing in that,
not
sir. I'm sure.
No.
Well, there's a hooser. An appreciative round of applause greets the home team here at Boundary Park. Oldham go into the break with a 12-point lead, and you'd have to say on the balance of that 40 minutes, that scoreline, pretty accurate assessment of what the game's been like.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Oldham. I think the start of the game was excellent. I think the way the game managed it, I thought the combination of McNally and Ridyard, and Ellis when he was first on, I thought was excellent. The kicking game, putting that pressure up from Ridyard and then Arvan and McNally chasing it. I think they've been excellent, but the one thing you've got to say about this Crusaders team, they've just stuck in there. The amount of ball that Oldham's had, maybe the scoreline, could have gone away from them a little bit. So that's all credit to Crusaders. I think Oldham's just not got to get bored of what they're doing well, and I think the back end of that half, maybe fatigue impacted that, but they've just got to not be bored, and Crusaders have just got to stay in there.
Well, I think I'm right in saying as well that Crusaders were behind at the break last week and came out to win that game, so they won't be too fazed by this. But this is the tale of the tape after 40 minutes. Oldham 12, North Wales 0. Patrick Arvan opening the scoring for the home side. And actually, Crusaders have probably made the strongest start to the game at this point, but this was all class. McNally at full-back, just changing where he was behind the scrum, and then through the hands, and Arvan scoring in the corner. Yeah,
it was. It was Matt Wilkinson just, held the ball up there. Now, if you look at the quality of skill, every pass is in front. It's soft hands. Arvan, as he's done all his career, just hugged that touchline. Very difficult person to stop, and I think this was the big game breaker now. I think Ridyard, as we've mentioned many times, it was an onside chase. And again, he's just held his chalk line there now as well. And I think the back three of Crusaders have really struggled with this.
Yeah, Arvan just making a nuisance of himself again. It was Cian Morgan who got himself over the line. And at that point, you'd have been forgiven for thinking that maybe Oldham were going to run away with this. They were bang on top, but fair play to North Wales Crusaders. They got themselves back into this game, and at half-time, Oldham hold the advantage, but it is very much all to play for in this second 40. Stay with us. 40 more minutes of this Betfred League One playoff on the way. At the break, Oldham 12, North Wales Crusaders 0.
season comes to its conclusion here tonight. Super League season comes to its conclusion here tonight. It is 4 in a row.
Robinson is a moment for long. He's kicked it. A brilliant Burrow try.
This is spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. England are on a roll. There's Torrin jerseys everywhere. The 18-year-old scores. Wales is over for the first try in this World Cup. Yaho's got the ball. He's kicked to the end goal. And they have pulled out a try.
Well, welcome back to Boundary Park. 40 minutes in the books in this Betfred League One playoff game. It is Oldham with their noses ahead at the break, 12 points to 0. Tries from Arvan and Cian Morgan. Steve McCormack alongside me. We said at the break that 12-0 scoreline, probably an accurate reflection, but it's very much all to play for. North Wales, we can see the roots for them back into this game.
Yeah, 100%. I think the one thing that Kyle Forster's team's got is character. You know, they've proven that, you know, last week and the weeks leading up to this game. And, you know, there was a lot of time in that game where Oldham was on the try line, they was put under the pressure, they were doubling up back-to-back sets. But that character of the North Wales Crusaders team just stayed in there. So I think Kyle Forster will be really pleased with what they've done in that first half. And I'm also aware that Mike Ford will just be a little bit worried about if they get some field position, they can cause Oldham some problems. But, you know, I thought the first half certainly belonged to Oldham.
Oldham finding quite a lot of joy down that left there. Jarvan really coming into the game. Cian Morgan is centre as well, also getting amongst the points. One thing that Oldham will have to contend with in this second half, Jamie Ellis off the field quite early on into that first half. He's been coming into this game off the back of a hamstring problem. It looks as if he's aggravated that again. And they're going to have to manage that. If he is done for the game, they're going to have to manage that scenario now where they're an interchange down.
Yeah, I think Mike Ford knew that, speaking to him before the game, that it was a gamble, so I think they'd have prepared for that during the week. I think the promising thing around that Oldham side is you've got players like Pat Moran, who arguably has been the best player on the field, can do big minutes. You know, he's not a front rower that, or a middle that comes on in 10 minutes and you've got to get him off. He can do 80 minutes if need be. You know, and you've got experience like Josh Johnson in there as well. And, you know, you can move maybe one of the half-backs into the 13th position and move back row into front rower and etc. So I think the rotation of the subs is really important. But, you know, a man of Mike Ford's experience, I'm sure he's looked at that throughout the week.
The rain is coming down here at Boundary Park after an extremely hot morning, dry week of course. Just a bit of grease on the pitch to make things even more difficult for these players. But a big 40 minutes on the way, a lot at stake of course. For the loser, their season is over. The winner goes on to that preliminary final next week against either Doncaster or Hunslet. And then the week after that, live and exclusive right here on the Sportsman Rugby League, we've got the Betfred League One promotion final. North Wales making their way back out onto the field, running over to this end where their travelling supporters are based, making plenty of noise still, even with the side 12-0 down. And as we mentioned earlier, they were behind at half-time last week, came on to win that game. So I'm sure they won't be too fazed by the challenge that they're up against here.
No, definitely not. You know, and I think with the players they've got in there as well, you know, it's quite a young side, so generally just young players take it in the stride. And you know, I think players like Kyle Forster and you know they've got players like Josh Hughes Lynch who I've been really impressed with, and you know you've got Jack Hart who's a big unit as well, making those inroads. Been really impressed with people like Rob Massam and the yardage he's made. So it won't bother them one bit. You know, you've got the drum and the North Wales Crusaders fans making all the noise, and they've done it before, haven't they? The last few years, you know, they've always been at a side that have peaked at the very back end of the season, and you know, I think Kyle Forster will be quietly confident that his team can perform in the second half.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic atmosphere so far today. We're stood at the back of this really impressive new stand here at Boundary Park, and we've got the North Wales fans making plenty of noise to our left and the Oldham supporters to our right. Mike Ford just making a few notes, finalising his plan for the next 40 minutes. A man who's been there and done it, sees so much in both codes of the game, of course, finds himself back at this club that he achieved so much with, looking to take them back up the Rugby League pyramid. Big couple of weeks on the way as they look to do that. Similar to the first half, Oldham just staying in the sheds as long as they can, keeping dry. Just a few mind games maybe, Steve.
Yeah, well, the officials aren't out yet as well, are they? So I think I'm looking at Kyle Forster there now, and he's got his hands on his hips. I'm sure it is a little bit tactical as well. You know, just making them wait. You know, it's their home ground, whether it's right or wrong. You know, they're making sure that they'll come out whenever they want to come out. So, yeah, Kyle Forster's actually walking towards the touchline now and shouting at the match officials, let's get them out, let's get this game back on.
Well, here they come. Kept us all waiting. We are now just moments away from the second half here at Boundary Park. Betfred League One playoff action. Absolute pleasure to have you with us here on the Sportsman this afternoon. Brilliant first 40 minutes. Absolutely flew by. I think we're set for the same again. And I feel like I'm reeling out a few cliches. We spoke about it pre-game, what the first 10 minutes of that first half, how important that would be. It's the same again here, isn't it? Because if North Wales can get themselves back in this and get some points on the board, this place might just get a little bit nervy.
I think so. The first score, you know, again, all the cliches is really important in the second half. You know, if you feel as though if Oldham get the first score and it goes into 18 points in a 3-score game, then it could be a long afternoon for North Wales Crusaders. But I just felt as though the Crusaders showed enough the last 15 minutes of that first half that once they get field position, they can cause problems. But I also feel as though that they have to chance their arm a little bit more and they have to throw a little bit more at this Oldham defence.
So Ridyard gets us back underway with a tall spiraling kick. Toby Hughes safely underneath it. Gives the ball to Hazard, who takes the first carry of the first half. And we're back into the arm wrestle here at Boundary Park. Fletcher carrying up over the 20-metre line. Pat Rainford in at 9, bringing the ball into that left-hand side. Forster with the carry. And Hazard again just takes a ball flat to the line. Brought down by the Oldham defence just inside the North Wales half. So Rainford up to play the ball again. Looks to go left, changes his mind, comes to the right, ducks under a tackle. Toby Hughes puts the ball up in the air. Greg McNally safely underneath it. But a decent enough set to start the second half.
Yeah, I think it's a really good set there from Crusaders.
Oh, and an error.
They come up with an error there. Great shot that. Great shot that.
A decent set becomes a very good set because they've got the ball back. Matthew Reid
Still going over on that left-hand side. He's got 3 Oldham defenders hanging off him. They do eventually bring him down. Massive opportunity early on in this second half then for North Wales to get their first points on the board. Fletcher bringing it back onto the inside. Stop. Maybe 8 or 9 metres short, pretty central. Forster brings it up to the line, drops it off to Hazard, who reaches through. A big carry from the North Wales number 8, and he's crashed his way over the line. And a perfect start to the second half for the North Wales Crusaders and Callum Hazard.
Yeah, game on as well, and that combination from Forster and Hazard. The Oldham defenders just sat back, expecting Forster to go out the back, like he's done previously there now. Middle unit there. You've got a great little half-back run out the back, but Hazard aggressive. He's an option. He's running hard. Little soft really hands line, there. Isn't it? Fantastic try.
And exactly what Carl Forster would have wanted from his team early on in this second half. They forced the error from Oldham, and on this occasion they've made them pay. It's going to be Leon Hayes who looks to cut the deficit further. A simple kick, just nudged over. And we've got a right game on our hands here, Steve.
Yeah, brilliant. We couldn't have asked for better, could we, from a neutral point of view there now. And just what the doctor ordered again, it was a nice little soft hands. I think what's made it as well, you've got Leon Hayes just wrapping round the back. And then that's just enabled, I think, with Toby Hughes actually wrapping around the back and little soft hands, and it just goes to show how important. I know we've mentioned him a lot of the times. Carl Forster is to this team. You know, great start to the first half for the Crusaders.
So Oldham get us back underway. Toby Hughes underneath the kick, keeps it in his hands on this occasion. He's stopped, pushed back to about 4 metres off his own goal line. And Hazard, fresh from score, he takes that carry up over the 10. Slight concern from a North Wales perspective. Hughes is just down in back play, holding, looks like his shoulder, maybe his elbow. For that early carry, he looks in some distress. Meanwhile, Forster over on this left-hand side carries it up, looking to get himself up to that 40-metre mark. Gets the offload away as well, so they keep the ball alive. And probably 10, 12, maybe more metres gained from that offload, and all of a sudden just feels like North Wales are starting to win those little margin areas.
Yeah, it's like a total switch, isn't it, from the start of the first half. And, you know, they're getting on the front foot, they're running aggressively. You know, it's the back of a Hayes kick again now, a real aggressive chase from Massam. And this Oldham forwards is just looking a little bit tired, just marching behind that play of the ball.
They get the offload away. It was Rorsford. I'm not entirely sure if I was Mike Ford, I'd be wanting my team to be throwing offloads on their own 10-metre line at the moment, but they've got away with it on this occasion. Toby Hughes is back up in that defensive line. So it looks like he's managed to shrug off whatever problem he had with that arm. Big set really this for Oldham after conceding. They need to come up with some kind of response here. And that's a good carry in the end. From Luke Nelms,
another set of 6 as well. Another set of 6.
6 again for his troubles. So an opportunity for Oldham to just steady the ship a little bit after conceding. Maybe try and get themselves back on top in this game as Dom Newton carries up. About 30 metres out. And Wilkinson now brings it out to the left. McNally gives it to Parga. Parga, brilliant little step of referee. The judge that he gave himself an unfair advantage getting through that gap, just came behind the player and he's pulled it back for a North Wales penalty.
Yeah, well, he certainly had a good view of it, the referee there. Now, if you look, Ridgey went right to the line and then he's just looking at the back row, just come right through.
Well, difficult to see from that angle.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. They're setting up on that right field position like they're doing now. They're Ridgey's running across the field. Let's have a look at the back row. Oof.
It's a tight one, isn't it? It's Zach Baker, I think, who's run through and caused a little bit of disruption in that Oldham line. The referee had judged it was enough disruption to constitute an obstruction. So North Wales with the penalty are up to halfway.
Had a good game, the match officials as well, hasn't it? We've not mentioned them about it being a really good game, I think. You know, so far, massive rap to all the match officials as well.
Yeah, we've barely mentioned any refereeing decisions so far in this game, which is exactly what we want to see. All about the players, of course, and they've served up a really good 46 minutes of rugby league so far. Here's Hazard, try scorer early on in the second half for the Crusaders, who look, they've got the wind in their sails here, haven't they, as they come over to this left-hand side. Hayes drops it off. Cole Oakley brought down eventually. They come back again. Hayes stabs a kick through, chases it himself. McNally's there. He'll play the ball just a few metres off his own try line. So Oldham being made to do it the hard way. 100 metres in front of them. Rawsthorne, big hit goes in from Ellis. Wilkinson now to Kieran Morgan. Morgan, try scorer in the first half, brought down on the 18-metre line mark and Arvan. So that's maybe just a sign of the intensity of these opening few minutes. All three of those carries have come from the Oldham three-quarter line. Yeah, and they've only made 20 metres, I think, as well. It's a great kick, potentially. Ridyard looking for a 40-20. He's got it. And he has got it. What a game breaker that could be. Outstanding kick from Martin Ridyard. Oh yeah, as you mentioned, what a moment in the game that could be, because we were just saying that the lack of metres that had been made from an Oldham perspective in that set, all of a sudden they find themselves with the ball back in hand, a full set 10 metres out from the North Wales line. So Nelms slowed down by the North Wales defence. It is a slower play the ball. Parga doesn't make the same mistake again, just gives himself up on that occasion. Just received word that Jamie Ellis is back out on the Oldham bench, heavily strapped, so I guess he perhaps is an option. Oh, huge hit. It was Dean Meadows who took it up. He was met really well by that North Wales defence, and Ellis again. Crusaders defending with real aggression here. Nelms flying in this North Wales defence. Real intensity and vigour to this game now. Parga shows, goes. He may have got this down. The referee's going to have a look at it. And he's said that it's held up just for a second. I thought Parga had managed to get his arm free. The North Wales defence has just done enough, says the referee, to keep him out. It's a little dummy from the play the ball. Oh, it's a close one. Oh, it's a really close one. He didn't have it down when Ellis blocked out the view. And Massum's done really well to clean that kick up inside his own dead ball area and bring it over the line and keep his side in possession of the football. What a game it is as well. That it is a really good set that from Crusaders. I think good call again. It's aggressive. Crusaders were aggressive, but Oldham were just asking those questions. And then just on that last occasion, it was massive. It was a good kick. And we spoke about Ridyard, you know, the 40-20 change in the game. Things like what Massum did previously then, just getting out the in-goal area. Can just get that momentum back into this North Wales Crusaders team. Involved in that set again, and Forster then taking the carry. So the experience, the leadership taking a lot on from a North Wales perspective. And they're going to get a penalty here on the halfway mark. So being millimetres away from conceding just moments ago, Crusaders have got an opportunity to put themselves in a really good field position. And this second half, this game's been outstanding still. It has, and it's come from that little tip on again, you know, that from Fletcher, I think it was on that occasion. And they're not just going one out, and I think the aggressive nature of the defence, you know, they're flying in this Crusaders team, not allowing Oldham any time. And on that occasion, that little tip on from Fletcher just got this penalty and a good opportunity again. Yeah, Leon Hayes putting the kick into touch. So North Wales with possession, 24 metres away from the try line. Forster again. Another carry for him. He's been so impressive. Hasn't come off the field in these 50 minutes, and he's been very, very busy. Now Jordan Andrade, Jamaica international. onto the field. Brings his team 8 metres short. Forster with the ball. They could be in here. I think they are. Referee just checking with his touch judges, and he gives the try. And from 12-0 down at the break, North Wales Crusaders have flipped this game on its head. And it's Matt Fletcher, the interchange, who's forced his way over just to the left-hand side of the posts.
It's identical, isn't it, to the last try, this? You know, the only thing that Forster's not done is kick this ball, because he's been like a halfback in a front rower's body. You know, he's been excellent there now. And look at this, two-handed carry, so he can pass it, he can carry the ball, and a little soft hands and
just all strength,
really aggressive. Yeah, a good ball from dummy half as well. I think if you was an Oldham player as well, I think you'd be really disappointed with that. I think it's Whittle. Got to get his body in front, got to dig his shoulder in, certainly on his goal line. But just that running into somebody at the back option, and Forster using those little soft hands again.
Well, a routine conversion for Leon Hayes, and 11 minutes or so, 12 minutes into this second half, and we are all square. Fantastic. 52 minutes of Betfred League One action so far, half an hour or so still to come, who knows, maybe more. We've had one golden point game this afternoon, and of course these teams are playing to keep their season going, get themselves into that preliminary final next week and keep that promotion dream alive. And at the moment, at 12-all, well, this is anybody's game. The kick's high. Parga looking to get on the end of it. Can't quite bring it in. So North Wales will start with the football 12 metres away from their own line. And Tra makes the carry, and this is being played at a real intensity now.
It's been one of the best games I've seen all year, to be fair, and I think it's a real test of Oldham's character as well now. You know, certainly coming off the back of last week, you know, they had everything go their way in the first half and played really well. They're under some immense pressure now from this Crusaders team. You know, and hopefully they can just steady the ship a little bit and then just get back to doing what they did in the first half. And I think we're going to have a tremendous finish to this game.
Yeah, we're all set for a blockbuster finish to this League One playoff game. We've got 2 more on the way. The preliminary final next week, of course, and then that all-important promotion final in 2 weeks' time. Stay with us here on the Sportsman Rugby League all the way through to the end of the season. This is the last tackle for North Wales. Rainsford pulls it back to Toby Hughes, who puts a spiralling kick up in the air. Arvan's underneath it. He brings it back to the 10-metre line. In fact, we're going to go back for a 20-minute tap because Arvan had his foot over the goal line when he took that kick.
Really smart player, that, isn't it?
Presence of mind from the experienced winger. Widnes, Bradford, North Wales. That's just the clubs he's played for in this country. Given so much to the game. But his side are under the cosh a little bit here. And now Rawsthorne, big carry up the middle from him. And he's done well, 7 or 8 metres from that carry, just to bring his side up to the 40-metre line. Quick play the ball. Pargo's been really lively since he came into the game. Might feel slightly aggrieved that he hasn't got a try to his name. Now McNally just sees a gap, goes for it himself. Wasn't there for very long. Ridyard, apologies. Making the carry. Now it's McNally. He just stabs a kick through, chases it himself, and Jar does really well. But it will be a goal line dropout. And that kind of set, forcing a repeat set, is exactly what Oldham needed. Yeah,
it was nice to see Ridyard actually run the ball as well there now. He's kicked the ball well, he's handed the ball over to Ellis or McNally or whoever that may be. On that occasion, he decided to run it, and that just enabled McNally just to come in that pivot area. You know, using all the experience, dabbing the ball in the in-goal area, and they get another repeat set to defend now.
Well, Josh Johnson back onto the field of play in the place of Luke Nelms. It's a very different state of play to when he was last on the field, the former Salford Red Devil. All of a sudden, this team in a real dogfight here at Boundary Park. as we just wait for Matt Fletcher, scorer of that first try for Crusaders, receiving some running repairs. You feel that maybe both teams will be just grateful of the opportunity to take a breath.
Yeah, I think North Wales Crusaders will be happy more than Oldham at this occasion, because they're obviously defending, so restarting play, and everybody's nice and fresh now.
So Parga fields a dropout. Big carry from Dean Meadows. This is real pull your socks up time, especially for those middles. A real firefight in those scrum lines. Parga at play the ball, brings it out to Johnson. Johnson sticks it up the jumper, pins his ears back, sees what meters he can make, looking for a quick play the ball. It's okay. Parga brings it out to the right hand side. Pat Moran back into the game. He just tips it off to Meadows. Keane Morgan, apologies. Now Pat Moran. Ridyard just stabs a kick through. And again, it's Andrade who just has to pull himself across that line and put the ball out to safety, and another repeat set. And Oldham doing a really good job here of just cranking the pressure up still.
Yeah, but we mentioned about the composure, and the character of this Oldham team after what Oldham Crusaders have North Wales Crusaders have done in the first part of this second half. But just that experience there, previously McNally, then Ridyard's dabbed it in, and this will take some defending from this team now.
So Leon Hayes gets us back underway with the dropout. Again, it's towards Parga with a little bit of football skills just to get the ball under control. And Meadows is stopped. So Parga at dummy half, drops it off to Pat Moran. Moran straight into Forster and Fletcher. Do a good job of just shutting the Irish international down. And now Johnson fresh onto the field. Stopped 15 metres or so short of the try line. Now they come over to the left. Parga, Ridyard. He's got McNally as an option out the back. Keeps the ball in hand. And Ellis does a really good job of shutting the play down. Now they come out to the right. Moran. He brings it out to McNally. A long ball from McNally. There could be some space on this side. Carr just can't get the pass away. The ball goes forward. And North Wales have done a really good job in surviving that.
Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed with that, Oldham. I think, arguably the first, the sets before that was excellent, giving this pressure. But, I think looking at that now, it's a poor pass, good defence. You've got to look at that again from Matthew Reid. Just held his line, got off the line and put pressure on it. But I think Oldham will be really disappointed with it.
The real interesting dynamic to this from a North Wales perspective. The man just playing the ball, Carl Forster, he's been magnificent, I think, in this game so far, but he's also doing a coach's role whilst he's out there at the same time.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can underestimate how difficult that is, what Carl's doing. He's been arguably the best player on the field, has been excellent. But I think you've got to give credit to his coaching staff as well. I think it's Stuart Simmons on the touchline, making the call regarding getting players on and off. But I agree, I think Carl Forster's done a tremendous job.
Good meters made early on in this set from a North Wales perspective. Brayford to play the ball, gives it Andrade. Good carry from him up over halfway, still getting those legs pumping. Johnson doing enough in the end. Alongside Whittle and Moranza bring him down. So they come over to his right hand side again. Forster, just a little drop off ball. I'm not sure Alex will be thanking him too much for that one. A real bone rattler as he took it into contact, and this is the last tackle. Hughes just stabs one through for Arvan to deal with, which he does. He carries it back over the 10-metre line. And it's Oldham's turn to carry the football from deep inside their own territory, and they look to spread it wide. Worsthorne to Carr. Carr just cut down on that right edge. And now George Hurst will carry it up. So let's keep it a little bit more in the middle. And the kick early on in the set. I think it's another 40-20 attempt. I think he maybe just...
Yeah, I think it's an Oldham ball again.
Yeah, he's given it. I wasn't sure if he was just outside of his own 40, but it's another excellent kick. And again, Oldham finding a way of turning a fairly ordinary set into a very good one. So Johnson takes the carry up to the 10-metre line. This feels like a big moment in the game. Oldham have been building the pressure. Now they've got to set right on the line, a full collection of tackles. The ball comes out to the left-hand side. Van, I think he's made it over, but the linesman's flag is in the air. It's a brilliant defensive effort from Josh Hughes-Lynch on that left. Van did everything he could to keep himself in the field of play. He believes he'd done enough. But it just by the skin of his teeth, Josh Hughes-Lynch does enough.
Yeah, just that combination of McNally and Van again, this right to left side shift. Moran goes out the back, Ridyard, great run from Baker, cut out pass to Van, and then can he stay in the field of play? What a great defensive hit. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh,
I think it's just that second effort, isn't it? I don't think he quite had the ball down. And then his back foot.
It's
this
not this
angle
first
will
one,
tell
is
us
it?
a bit more.
Oh, what a big call
this is. Here. He's okay there. And I think it's just maybe, as he's looking to get the ball down here, it's his back foot.
Oh,
it's marginal.
I'm not sure.
It's a very, very close call.
And it's a tough call, isn't it? You know, whether you're an official or whoever that may be. But they've got the penalty now. So all's not lost with them. But I also think you've got to give this Crusaders team some...
When you look at it there, it's almost simultaneous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a massive call, that. And that's what Van's saying. Probably a millimetre.
But as you mentioned, Oldham with a penalty, so still a chance to capitalise. But I'm sure that is a moment that we've spoken about a lot after the game, regardless of result. Johnson stopped by this North Wales defence. And now Ridyard. He drops it off to Meadows. Dean Meadows stopped 2 or 3 metres short from that North Wales line. And the North Wales defence in the middle has been superb all afternoon. You feel like any joy might come on that edge. Ridyard just trying to jink his way through again. And now Parga swings it out to the right-hand side. Moran. Matt Fletcher, who's had an excellent game since coming off the bench. Flying out the line there to make the tackle. There might be some numbers over on this edge now. Carr just can't get the pass away to Rawsford. And North Wales survive yet again.
Yeah, I'm not sure they keep doing it as well. You know, they've had 2 or 3 repeat sets, a couple of penalties against them, everything been on their own goal line. That man there who's playing the ball has been sensational for them. And just that character that they've shown defensively, really important set now, and Oldham will fancy themselves for ramping off that line and putting this Crusaders team under real pressure.
Yeah, the line speed from both teams, even at this stage of the game, has still been really impressive. They're flying up, as do the Oldham defence there on that left edge. And it's Josh Johnson and Pat Moran who make the hit. So Rainford gives it to Rob Massam, who's been really impressive with his carrying out yardage this afternoon. Gets his team valuable field position again, and the kick comes in this time. It's going to be straight down Rawsford's throat. So really the first opportunity we've seen in a while for a team to run the ball back from a kick. Rawsford stopped just inside his own half.
Yeah, I think that's the least metres that the Crusaders team's made from a yardage set. I think they made 10 metres, and then that's enabled Oldham just to pick the ball up on their 40-metre line. So they're going to get another couple of good ball sets now on this set.
It's probably the only poor end of set from either team really in this game, certainly that I can remember. Johnson plays the ball. Moran now brings it out the back. Here's McNally coming into the line. He's broken through. McNally's going to score. Oh, he's coming back. The referee's blown up again.
Well, it's consistent, isn't it, the match official?
A lot of unhappy Oldham supporters around us. I'll need another look at that.
I must admit, I did think it was okay watching it.
Knocking on the door. But again, the referee's called it back. Let's have a look. It's a really good bit of shape. And it's, again, it's Zach Baker. It's almost exactly the same as the previous incident. It's Zach Baker that's gone into the line. And the referee's judged that he's just done a bit too much.
I honestly think Baker's line now is perfect. And there's no way he can actually go through that line. I think if you look at that right edge of Crusaders there now, the bodies have turned, they've come in to get Baker, and then McNally's gone round in a really good run. So, you know, I think the rules state that he's got to go through the line, but I'm not sure.
Baker was looking at the ball then as well. It was an honest line. He wasn't a decoy runner. He was very much.
It was an option, wasn't it? I think it's a decision that the Crusaders' right edge have made that's enabled, you know, McNally to get that space, and I think it's a big call, but again, it's a consistent call from the match official.
Fine margins in this game. Oldham will feel aggrieved about a few decisions that have gone against them on this left edge in this second half. But it's all history now. It is still 12-all with 15 minutes left, and it's North Wales with the football 20 metres out. Hughes lynches his arms in the air on this right-hand side. He wants them to spread it. They do to Fletcher. Fletcher brought down 18 metres away. Burns back onto the field. Ball goes out to Ryan Ellis. He's met well by the Oldham defence. This is the last tackle. It's a slowish play the ball. They look to spread it. Andrade putting that kick under pressure. It's going to be a goal line dropout. Oldham perhaps asking if Andrade was in front of the kicker there. The referee tells him to get on with it. And it will be a goal line dropout.
Good sweeping round there from Ridyard. I think he may have had a point, you know, with that. But again, this game has just swung round completely. Oldham had a couple of repeat sets 5 minutes ago. Crusaders have got that opportunity now, but what a great dropout.
Really good dropout. It's beaten everyone and turned North Wales around. So Masson will have to carry from midway inside his own half, but he's done a really good job of it. Oh, it's a shame there's only 15 minutes left of this, Steve. I could do this for another hour at least. Brilliant entertainment here in Betfred League One. Great carry from Andrade. Gibbons flying through the line. There's numbers left and right if they can act quickly, and they do. Hayes just stabs it through. And the ball beats everyone. Just waiting to referee's just having a chat with his linesman. I think they're just talking about a potential pullback, and he's given it. The North Wales player adjusted to been pulled back.
Will they have a crack at goal, or are they going to put him under the...
I think it's Cole Oakley, the player that's adjudged to have been fouled, and they are going to go for the two.
I actually thought it was the wrong option there as well from Hayes with that kick. You know, you mentioned the numbers. I think there was only 3 on this right edge.
We'll get a better look at it.
Good ball from Dummier. Yeah, it was 3. It was
Hayes
4 on 3.
Kick through. There's just a little bit, isn't there, from Rawsform on Oakley. Enough to constitute a penalty. It's just a little bit of a pull back there. It's actually Matthew Reid, isn't it, that's pulled back.
It's a good call, isn't it? Good call from the officials.
Yeah, I think he's got that one spot on.
I think this fella on the screen as well now, you know, Leon Hayes. You know, was a real. I remember being at Wigan and we looked at Leon as a young player.
Oh, big moment this.
Yeah. Oh,
and he's put it wide.
Put the mockers on him. But he's as this game's gone on, he's come to the fore as well. And for such a young player in a pivotal position, he's having a key part and a key performance in this game.
Well, do not go anywhere. Just over 10 minutes left in this game. We are locked up at 12-all. It has been an absolute cracker from start to finish, but this second half especially has been superb. So it's a 20-metre dropout. Andrade feels it. Big carry straight at Pat Moran, who stands tall. Josh Johnson in there supporting as well. And now Fletcher carries up over halfway. He's met by George Hurst. Oldham have done just a good job there. 2 tackles in a row of just slowing it down a little bit. Forster just shapes the pass, keeps the ball in hand instead, makes a few metres on top of the initial carry. Now they come over to the right-hand side. Gibbon I think that's gone forward. Referee's got a decision to make here. And I think it's going to be an Oldham ball. Now a little bit of afters. It's getting very, very tense out there in this stadium. So much on the line, of course. I think we're just going to come back for an Oldham ball here.
Yeah, nothing really in it. I mean, 12 minutes, haven't they, to save the season, and to, one team will be going home at the end of this game, and nothing more to do until December. The winning team's going to obviously got another week next week, and you can sense that pressure. I'd like to see Toby Hughes on this right edge. It was a bit of a nothing play there. I'd like to see him run the ball as a half-back. Like Hayes is doing on that left edge. I think if he does that, he can get some rewards.
Right, okay. Well, just a conversation taking place here between the referee and his linesman. So we'll just wait and see what he has to say.
No. Listen to me, right? We go in there for a knock-on, and then you come in with a late shot, right? The penalty's against you. Be very careful what you do, all right? It's against you. Penalty. Late tackle. Martin, you're good here,
So an Oldham penalty. Mentioned a little bit of afters in there, so Oldham get their scrum upgraded a little bit. And we're straight back at it. And it's Meadows with the carry. Gets the offload away. Forster still chasing. He brings Parger down by the scruff of his neck. So it's McNally in at the play the ball. Dead centre, about 44 metres out. Johnson takes the carry up. Brought down by two North Wales defenders. And it's Pat Moran getting those legs pumping. He's been really impressive this afternoon. Makes some good metres for his side there. And now Nelms. Good carry from him, finds his front. Gets himself a quick play the ball and perhaps an opportunity here. They go left but then spring it back to the right. McNally, little grubber kick through and it just beats everyone.
7 tackle set as well now.
Maybe just a little bit of extra juice on this field from the rain that we've had, seeing that ball on.
I think they were looking for one, weren't they, at first, I think? And good pressure from the Crusaders' defence there now, when McNally decided to run it. Oh.
But a knock on. A cardinal sin at the play the ball from Jake Burns, and Oldham have got another opportunity to get their noses back in front. It just takes 2 grabs at it, doesn't it? And he knows straight away. And you mentioned Oldham setting up for the one previously, Steve. That's definitely going to come into the thinking on this set, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Whether they'll set up on that right edge and have a right to left side shift like they've done previously, or whether they'll just use this ridge yard drop goal opportunity in this field position.
So Morgan. Try score in that first half feels like a long time ago now. So much has happened in this game. Johnson, good carry from him. Looking for that quick play the ball. Doesn't quite get it, but they're still in a good position here. Moran, he comes out the back to Ridyard. Here's McNally, there's space on the right if they can make the numbers count. Connor Carr keeps it to himself. Maybe that was the wrong option. Rawsform was in space on that right-hand side. And Oldham have to look for another route through. Parger, now they look for the one. Ridyard. And he's missed.
Wow. Do you know, looking at that again, an unsung hero from this team has been Ryan Ellis. I thought what he did then with Ridyard, then he knew Ridyard, quite smart, just sat back, knowing exactly what he wanted to do. But that little effort from Ryan Ellis, he's done it all game, just put pressure on him, and that's just got him down this other end.
Wonder if Connor Carr will watch this game back. And rude that he didn't give that pass. Fletcher now for North Wales. 45 metres out. Breathless rugby league football here on the Sportsman. Barrett with the carry. Forster just keeps it to himself. Sure, North Wales will be considering the one at some point in this set as well. I doubt they'll look to go too wide. Barrett will take his second carry of the set, and he's made his way through. Ball on the inside, and it goes to ground.
Oh, Burns was in, wasn't he?
Jake Burns just couldn't bring it in cleanly.
Not the best pass, but you'd expect him to take it.
Brilliant from Barrett. He did so well to get himself into the space and make the break.
What a game. What a game.
It's been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant. I'm sure the North Wales and the Oldham fans around us are running out of fingernails, but for the neutral, Steve, this has been absolutely brilliant entertainment.
It has, and this next 5 minutes is going to be exactly the same. And just look at that, small margins again. It was a fantastic effort there as well from Barrett getting across there.
To Arvan carrying from the scrum. Someone is going to be a hero this afternoon. Someone is going to take their team another step further down the road to promotion to the Betfred Championship. Who will it be? That pass is behind Moran. Oldham want 6 again. They're not getting it. So they come over to the right-hand side. Ridyard drops it off to Nelms. This is the last. So a good defensive set in that respect from North Wales. Oldham keeping the ball alive on that right-hand side. Still going. Ball goes to ground. Carr gets it off the Rawsthorn. They're keeping it alive. And a kind of speculative would be the polite way of saying it. Effort.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think dabbing that in the corner again, there's plenty enough time. You know, this Crusaders team playing really well, but a little bit tired. And I think this Oldham team, just that composure, dabbing it in the corners, making the Crusaders team come out from their own 10. I think that may have been a better option than being speculative and going for a drop kick like this. But it's easy to say from up here, isn't it?
Well, it's all happening so quickly in front of our eyes. I'm sure it's even quicker when you're down there in the middle of it, as Hughes Lynch takes the carry. And now it's North Wales looking for a chink in this Oldham armour. Fletcher with the carry. I think he's been magnificent in this second half, as a lot of these players have on both sides of the ball. Oh, and it's Jake Burns just firing that pass behind the line. Massam does well in the end to go back and mop up, and he'll bring this back to the halfway line. So they've probably not lost too many yards. So North Wales getting the offload away. Burns brings it up to the line. Still going. Brought down in the end. This is the 5th. Are they in range? He comes out. Oh, and it's never really got off the ground. And it wasn't played at. It was Toby Hughes, whose drop goal attempt just kind of fizzed along the floor. And then subsequent effort goes wide.
It's just frantic, isn't it?
Smart
It's
words,
just
Steve.
absolute frantic. I think, you know, both sides have given absolutely everything. It was an attempt there from Toby Hughes first, then Hayes, good offload to start this attack.
Well,
but I think, he's gone for it.
Over the top. Oh, and it just dies. Looked for all the world like it was going to bounce. But then a disaster from Hughes Lynch. And now it's on. And they're really getting stuck into each other here. And the tension has been building and building and building, and it's boiled over here. But it was a smart kick over the top from the dropout. The ball just kind of died rather than bouncing. But then Joss Hughes Lynch, I'm not sure what he was trying to do. Just kind of rolls it along the floor.
He's lucky.
And then all chaos broke loose.
I think Parga just a great chase there now, enforcing that error, and then just that little bit of petulance, just rubbing the head of the Crusaders player. Then it just kicked off a little bit. Then, you know, something we don't like seeing on that one, but. You know, what a great player there. So he might be lucky that he don't give a penalty away here, you know, when they've done all that hard work.
Parga has incited that. Parga's incited after a knock-on. First penalty to Wales, Parker and Gibbons red.
Yeah, okay. Dave!
Well, it's a red card. Dave Gibbons is walking.
Go away.
And it felt like there was going to be a breaking point in this game. It felt
go
like there was going to be a moment where the pressure just escaped the valve. Maybe this was it. So Gibbons walks, as does Zach Baker for Oldham. So both teams will finish this game down to 12 men. And your bingo card of pretty much everything that could have happened has happened.
You took the words out of my mouth then. I think it's the third man in, isn't it, Gibbons, what has just caused that. I don't think there's anything real seriousness in that. It's sad that both have been given the red card. I think both players have been exceptionally well. And both skippers are getting a stern talking to for the last 3 or 4 minutes on this.
Listen, Martin, just come here, please. Then we've got obviously David and Zach coming in.
There is so much at stake. Both teams fighting for their lives in this Betfred League One playoff series.
Penalty against Jordan.
Didn't need to do that. I think he'd be really disappointed if he had his time again. He chased hard, caused the error, and then just that little bit of petulance has given Crusaders the ball.
They are out of jail, the North Wales Crusaders, because for all the world, that error from Lynch looked like it was going to give Oldham another set, another opportunity to get themselves ahead. As it stands, both teams are down to 12 men. North Wales will start with the ball on halfway, and this remarkable game of rugby league just continues with its twists and its turns. So here we go, big set for North Wales, an opportunity to get themselves into drop goal range. Fletcher brings it up to the line. He's met Moran and Nelms, but already good field position. Forster just keeps it in hand, gets the legs pumping, earns himself a few more metres. Burns. Chris Barrett now brought down. They're well in drop goal range. When will they go for it? This could be it. It comes back. The defence is really good. They're forced out to the left-hand side. Matt Reed wrestled to the ground 10 metres short. This is the last. They come back out. Now it's on, perhaps. He's got it! Toby Hughes has scored the drop goal that maybe, just maybe, has taken North Wales Crusaders on another week in these playoffs. From nowhere. From an error, 30 metres out from their own line.
Wow.
North Wales Crusaders have found themselves a point ahead, and there can only be seconds remaining in this game.
Yeah, you just feel as though there might be something left in it as well, the way the game's gone, don't you? But
anything can happen here.
Just the composure from Toby Hughes and the link-up play from Liam Hayes. Let's see what happens this last 60 seconds.
Well, they go short, they have to. Parga can't quite knock it down, and North Wales come back with the football. Ellis cramping up in back play, I can't blame him. Taylor takes the carry. Burns at the play, the ball, hand in there from Moran, probably lucky he didn't make contact. Forster. Been excellent. As so many of these players have on both sides. He's just taken a stinger, maybe.
No wonder he's tired. The amount of work that man done on the floor. You want your players and your coaches leading by example. Not many player coaches in the division. But that man, he deserves a medal for everything he's done today so far.
Well, I've got to interview him after this game. He might be doing it sat down at this rate. He has emptied the tank completely. There is nothing being left out on this field from either side. A remarkable 80 minutes of Betfred League One action. At the moment, it is North Wales who are going through to the preliminary final. The second week in a row they've come out of the second half down on the scoreboard. They are moments away from reversing that for a second week in a row. Key minutes, key moments being taken out of this game from a North Wales perspective now, just slowing it down. There's an incident going on report. The assignment pretty simple now from a Crusaders perspective. Just keep the ball in hand, get to the end of your set, turn them around with a kick, make them play from deep.
It's easy, isn't it?
It's all easy from up here, Steve. Burns, drag to the ground. Forster from play the ball. A reminder, as you will have well noticed, that clock on your screen is just a guide. It is not the official timekeeper clock. So we are in added time at this point. And they do get to the end of the set. Put the kick in. He isn't going to go dead, so Arvan is forced to play it. Throws a big looping ball over the top, and Oldham are forced to come from deep. Rawsthorne just looking for some space. Crusaders defence scrambles across and shuts him down. So it's 82 metres. That is the objective from an Oldham perspective. The kick's gone in, it's bobbling about all over the place. I think it's going to come back as an Oldham ball. The clock is stopped. Glorious chaos.
Yeah. This scrum's going to be interesting now. Are they going to go for strike play straight from one? Are they going to kick early? I think the Crusaders, one of the Crusaders or a couple of them may drop back because Ridgeyard does that type of thing.
A couple of times, haven't they?
Yeah, so I think both defensively and offensively, there's some decisions have to be made in this next 10 seconds. Both wingers have dropped back now, so there is space if they decide to run it.
Well, they keep it in hand for the time being. Arvan brings it back on the inside, gets the offload away to Nelms. Nelms running out of options, puts the pass in, and it is swept up by Matt Reed for North Wales. And that is that. The North Wales Crusaders are into the preliminary final in the Betfred League One playoffs after winning a classic here at Boundary Park. Toby Hughes with the drop goal, enough to see his side over the line. But my word, Stephen, we had our money's worth this afternoon.
Yeah, 100%. I can't speak highly enough of both sides. I think, you know, they've given absolutely everything for the supporters. A great day, great spectacle. But from a North Wales Crusaders point of view, they was under the pump in the first half, 12-0 down. I thought Carl Forster, a few of the other players within that really stood up. Yeah, and then Toby Hughes came across and did the one.
I did want to ask you, because there's so much happening and I wanted to see to the end of the game, but Steve, we need a Betfred player of the match from you. So many to choose from.
Yeah, I've mentioned it, I think Carl Forster, he's done 80 minutes, player coach, done everything, little tip on for a couple of the Crusaders tries, and led by example. I think he thoroughly deserves that.
So there you go, player, coach and Betfred player of the match on this occasion. Carl Forster leads his side into the next round of the Betfred League One playoffs. They will play either Doncaster or Hunslet next week live on the Sportsman. And my word, we had Salford versus Warrington earlier today go to Golden Point, and then this one go all the way to the wire. Rugby League is the winner again. It just keeps on producing. That was outstanding.
Yeah, but that's why it's best game in the world, isn't it? You know, and that's might be a bit biased in that, but it genuinely is. You watch what this game game has had everything. You know, it's had a bit of controversy, it's had a couple of sending-offs, it's had some great tries, it's had some great kicks, but most of all, both sides have given absolutely everything and showed some real quality. You know, so congratulations to the Crusaders. You know, I think Oldham's been fantastic, and I've never been to an Oldham game for a long, long time with the atmosphere like it is, but a fantastic afternoon, and credit to both teams.
Well, feels like a long, long time ago that Patrick Arvan opened the scoring this afternoon for Oldham. And it is the North Wales Crusaders players going over to the brilliant travelling support. I must say, there's plenty of them over to our left-hand side. They've travelled in real numbers here from North Wales, and it'll be a very happy trip home for them. So there we have it. There is the scoreboard. Oldham 12, North Wales Crusaders 13. That drop goal from Hughes, the all-important point that has pushed the Crusaders into the next round. But as we mentioned early on, Oldham started really strongly. That Patrick Arvan try, getting the scoreboard ticking. What a job the Crusaders have done to get themselves one back in the game and then two over the line. So this is it early on.
Yeah, it was. It was McNally in that combination between McNally and Arvan. You know, did it all the game. Didn't quite do it in the second half enough. But soft hands at Ellis, I think it was a big point in the game where Ellis went off and didn't manage to have any more impact in the game. And this early kicking game from Ridyard, onside chase, Arvan, McNally, you know, all that left edge of Oldham, you know, putting that pressure, and it was a fantastic try there. And Carr for Morgan. Morgan just picked the ball up from that, and then this man Carl Forster just took over. Little soft hands, you know, to his middle unit. Took the ball right to the teeth of the line, and what a fantastic ball there. And then an identical play again there. Just a one-on-one miss from the Oldham team there. Now you've got to make those tackles. He'll be disappointed. I think if he had his time again, he'll get his body in front. But Carl Forster again, playing in the middle, playing as a 13, but playing as a half-back. Big call in this game, Arvan. You know, went into touch. I think it was just his foot, just trailing behind that. Good defence from the North Wales Crusaders. And then a couple of real big decisions there now. It was the back rower, just on that lead line, with the match official just deciding that it was an obstruction, just took the Crusader defender out. McNally really frustrated there, as the line he ran was perfect. And then a big turning point of the game. It was a great chase from Paga, and then just a little bit of petulance, which just resulted in, I think it was Baker. Nothing thrown there. I think it was just a lot of bodies in there. Both players got the red card, and then it was just 5 minutes of chaos after that. But I think that was a big turning point within this game. Gibbons just coming in, I think it was a third man. It's just caused a little bit of a melee, maybe a bit of frustration, and then what turned out to be a great kick chase from Oldham, and they had the ball, had all the ascendancy. And then Crusaders got the ball. Then it was Leon Hayes to Toby Hughes, all the composure, and just got the ball over. And what a fantastic finish to a fantastic game. And we'll go down to Lewis now with some interviews with the players.
Well, Mike, at the heartbreaking end to your season, can you kind of sum up what happened in that second half?
Yeah, fair play first of all to Crusaders. They played very well. I think, you know, we look back, I think we had 3 tries disallowed, and we must have bombed a couple of tries with a on this right-hand side. So we had opportunities that we didn't take. You've got to take them in games like this. Kept the scoreboard close. You know, when we were 12-0 up, if we could have got that next score, then, you know, it might have been a different game. But we didn't get it through to our own execution. So it's tough to take. This group of players, probably the last game they'll play together. And it's obviously in front of our own fans. But, you know, credit to Crusaders. I thought, you know, they deserved in the end to win. And look, there's no point looking at it now. The season's over. We'll have our end of season dinner on Friday, and then we'll build again for next year.
You mentioned that the chances missed and bombed. Is it perhaps the case that maybe if this wasn't the playoff game, if there wasn't so much at stake, maybe those stick?
Yeah, I think it pressure a little bit. Does things to players. You know, the mental side of it is huge. You know, are we going to win? Are we going to lose? You know, that kind of stuff. And what happens if I make a mistake? What happens? You know, if they've scored a try, can we show a bit more mental resilience? Certainly, the skills side of it is what, over the last couple of weeks, the mental skills side of it is where we've been lacking.
How big in the next couple of months now to get the off-season right and the recruitment right for next year to make sure that you're right in the mix again? Yeah,
I think I've only got one player currently on a 2-year deal, so there's only one player was signed on for last year. Which is unheard of, really. You know, any 20% of any squad over a turnover in a year is quite high anyway. So we've had about 75 to 80. We've recruited very, very well for next year. We know now we're in League One next year. So we've been working hard on that already. And like you saw today, we signed Joe Wardle for next year. Also Jordan Turner, 2 current Super League players. So we're going to be very, very competitive next year, and recruitment's almost done in terms of the new squad for next year.
Well, Mark, commiserations. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, Carl Forster joining us now. Player, coach, and on this occasion, player of the match. It's not often you do a triple threat at an interview like this, but you must be just so pleased with that 80 minutes and the fact that you're still alive and in that next round.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's always a struggle when you go 12-0 down to such a quality outfit, and you know, with the players they've got on the field and the way they can manage games, I thought it was a huge credit to our boys who, you know, thought we stuck to the process. We knew where we'd get them, and you know, at half time we sat down, we reviewed what we'd gone wrong and you know what we're actually doing right. And you know, we just knew if we started completing sets and ending sets better, that you know we'd give ourselves a fighting chance. And
you know, when the chips were down, it was a real dogfight out there. But the likes of yourself, Rob Masson, Matt Fletcher, some real kind of experience and leadership stood up to the plate this afternoon.
Yeah, that, and I thought our right edge, you know, this time last year they wasn't even playing NCL. You know, you had Ryan Ellis, Kieran Taylor, Toby Hughes, all from the amateur game, and I thought their edge was outstanding. You know, they dealt with the edges really well, and you know, obviously on the flip side, having Cole, Rob Reeder, you know, I think our edges have been outstanding for the last couple of weeks, and we just tell our middles to graft, and you know, if they do that, work hard, you know, the good stuff will come. And the
second week in a row that you've been down on the scoreboard at the break and come around and turned it around, that kind of spirit and mental toughness of this team must just be a real kind of money in the bank thing that you can rely on week in, week out.
Yeah, mate, we're such a tight-knit group. You know, we've been through a lot of adversity this year. We've had 2 home games all season. The club's been through a lot. So we've had to dig in. You know, we went 0-7 at the start of the season. No one gives a chance for the playoffs. And if I'm going to be honest, we've been playing playoff rugby for 5 weeks now. You know, we had to beat Donna, we had to beat London. Obviously, we went to Workington last week, and you know, since that Cornwall defeat, I think it's galvanised everybody at the club, and you know, I can't take my hat off to the backroom staff. Obviously, Stu Simmons, etc. Absolutely outstanding. You know, from 1 to 17, 18, 19 people off the field, everyone deserves that win today.
And you're in that preliminary final next week. There must be a sense of, whilst you're still breathing, you've got a real chance of going up.
Yeah, I think the boys will be getting bored of me telling them that they're underdogs, and we have got nothing to lose. And like I said before the game, it makes us dangerous. You know, we keep rewriting the script, in my opinion. Not many people would give us a chance today, apart from the people in our dressing room, in our club. And I think, obviously, our fans, it felt like an home game out there today. You know, when you're on the field, they were galvanising us. And yeah, we go again, whether it's Hunslet, Doncaster, we'll be the guys that are written off, and you know, touch wood, we rewrite it again.
Well, Carl, congratulations. Enjoy it. We'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Well, there we have it. What an 80 minutes of rugby league here at Boundary Park. Breathless from minute one. It is the North Wales Crusaders who are heading in to that preliminary final next week. And Steve, join me pitch side. We kept saying in that latter kind of quarter of that second half how good that game was, but it really was just outstanding, wasn't it?
Yeah, it had everything, didn't it? I think most of all just the quality. You look at this division, you mentioned right at the beginning of the day about the playoffs and what it can bring to people and the pressure it did, and both teams thrived off that as well. I thought Crusaders were fantastic second half, but they've been doing that just full speed there for the last 5 weeks, playoff football, having to win, and they showed that and they hardened to it. I think Oldham were great as well. I think they'll have better days from what we've seen with the supporters, but the day belongs to the Crusaders today.
You mentioned that word pressure. You could feel it palpably building inside this place in the last 10 minutes, and it felt like something was going to happen, whether it be an error, a flashpoint, a moment of brilliance, and we kind of got all three.
Yeah, we did, and it was everything, hasn't it? And we mentioned it being frantic and it was chaotic last 5 minutes, and that probably emphasises how much it means to both sets of players and coaches and supporters. And I think the turning point was probably the 2 sending offs, and then the switch of it was a great kick chase from Parga, and then a little bit of a melee, and then they got changed over, and then Crusaders got the ball and went to the other end of the field and got the drop goal. So really, really fine margins, but that's what player football's all about.
Well, Steve, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us for the last couple of hours. For the North Wales Crusaders, the dream is still alive. They are still on the road to promotion for the Betfred Championship. We will be back next week with that preliminary final. You will not want to miss it. If there's anything like this, you will not want to miss it. Join us as ever Wednesday, 6 o'clock for the last tackle here on the Sportsman Rugby League, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, that's a big one.